Welcome to Praise to the King of Kings, heralding the glory of God and the lordship of Jesus Christ over all of life and all the world. Jesus was not a socialist. October 18th, 2019. I was going to start this post by saying that I don't usually comment on political issues, but I quickly realized that isn't even remotely true. The primary statement I try to make with this blog, Jesus is Lord, is an inherently political statement. In church history, it was this very statement that put the early church in direct conflict with the political entities of their day. The Romans had a unique way of keeping peace across their empire. Every time a new people group was conquered, they were permitted to keep their religions and their gods, so long as they were willing to make the statement, Kaiser Kyrios, Caesar is Lord. This was essentially your declaration that whatever personal beliefs you held, they would not interfere with your ultimate allegiance to Caesar. Now you can see how such a statement would be problematic for Christians. The Christian claim was seen as a revolutionary one. Christos Kyrios, Christ is Lord. The Romans rightly recognized that the Christian claim about the lordship of Christ was a direct challenge to the supremacy of Caesar. It's not just a hypothetical or abstract claim we're making when we affirm that Jesus is the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Such a claim has radically far-reaching implications. There is no area of life that is exempted from the lordship of Christ. This will inevitably have political implications. If Christ is our Lord, then our understanding of justice and righteousness must be based on his word. It's election season, and we've been getting some political flyers in the mail. I'm going to pick on the Green Party here, as it was their flyer that prompted me to want to address politics in this post. Here are some of the promises from the Green Party, if they are able to steer our country into the future. Free post-secondary education and forgiveness of all student loan debt. Free mental health and pharmacare. Guaranteed livable income and affordable housing measures. Protect displaced fossil fuel workers with income guarantees. Now, to put this into my words, free education, free counseling, free drugs, free money, and more free money. When I read the Green Plan, I said to my wife, oh good, our green future is communism. If this sounds like an overstatement, think about this. Anytime you talk about one person's right to anything with a price tag, like free education, you are stating that somebody else has a corresponding responsibility to pay for it. So why is this a problem? What does this have to do with Jesus? Well, there's two main issues. This entire setup is predicated upon violations of the 8th and 10th commandments. If I am one of the people entitled to free money for my education, or my universal basic income, or my free drugs from the pharmacy, where does the government get the money for this? From the people. Each program that promises free anything is, in essence, a program of wealth redistribution. The government raises the taxes of one group of people in order to redistribute that money to another group of people. The Bible has a word for this: theft. Many Christians have accepted the idea that simply because something is legal, that makes it moral. But this is not a biblical paradigm. It is God who defines right and wrong. The fact that we can vote a party in who will make something legal doesn't make it right. Campaign promises like this are an appeal to envy and the promise of theft. The 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal, assumes the right to private property. The 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet, assumes the reality that not everybody will have the exact same amount of stuff in this life. And regardless of what socialists will tell you, economic disparity is not injustice. Karl Marx and his many followers operate on the assumption that all wealth has been acquired through oppression and abuse of power. This is how and why they can morally justify in their minds the government's coercive redistribution of finances. To put that in simpler terms, It's not fair that so-and-so has more money than me. He must have acquired it by oppressing people. Therefore, it is right for the government to take his money and give it to people like me. It's easy to see the commandment violations in this schema. How does God call me to view my wealthy neighbor? You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Exodus 20:17. This is one of the many places where the lordship of Christ comes into conflict with modern politics. Because if I believe that Jesus Christ is Lord of all, if I believe he has given me his infallible word as a guide for life and practice, then I believe that theft and covetousness are sins, and I am duty-bound to oppose any and all government programs that require, encourage, or promote sin. So I believe it is the Christian duty to oppose Marxism, communism, and socialism for the same ultimate reason that we oppose abortion. God has spoken, and we must obey. Jesus is Lord of all earthly lords, and if we are aiming to be in submission to him, we must realize our duty to oppose laws that violate God's law. The Marxist regimes fancy themselves a Messiah. Give allegiance to them, surrender every area of life, and they will bring you salvation, which is found, in their minds, through removing economic disparity. But the state is a false Messiah. We cannot reject God and his law and expect positive outcomes. Galatians 6 verse 7 says, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. A man reaps what he sows." If we sow seeds of covetousness and theft, this will never lead to prosperity or justice for all. The state is a false Messiah. Jesus Christ alone brings salvation. Through the shed blood of Christ, we have peace with God and with others. When we become citizens of his kingdom, we strive for true justice for the oppressed, true help for the poor, and we offer the message of true salvation. Jesus was not a socialist. As was true in the early church, his kingdom is a rival to the kingdoms of earth. His ways are the best ways, and true salvation is found in him and him alone. Soli Deo Gloria.